He says, let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. That word give up really means, the word means to like come home from a long day of work and loosen the belt and just like collapse, just abandon, just be done, right? To just kind of veg out and give up. And the reason this is important is because Paul is saying it's easy to grow weary in following Jesus, easy to grow weary in doing good because it's hard work at times. And some of you are in this season of weariness. You're working on this, you're working on that, you're doing everything you can and pouring all your life out on this and this and this, and it feels like you're running crazy, and you're just like, man, I don't know, I'm just so tired. But here's the good news. Paul says weariness is seasonal. It doesn't last forever. Do you see what he said at the end of verse 9? In due time, he says, at the right time, we will reap. The reaping will come. He's pointing to the last day, the return of Jesus, and saying there will be a time. So right now, the exhaustion that you feel right now will not last forever. The sin and the junk that you're walking through in your life right now will not be forever. The depression that you're experiencing right now will not be the last chapter of your life. Because he says, in due time, we will reap. He's pointing to the fact that in this life, there are some prayers that seemingly don't get answered. There are some wounds that seemingly don't get healed. In this life, there is some fruit that seemingly doesn't come in. But there is another life. And he's saying, everything you do today counts not just for tomorrow, but for eternity. That Jesus is going to take that, redeem that, and draw that in to be enjoyed throughout all of eternity. So don't grow weary, don't give up, because what you do is not in vain. You say, but how do I know? How do I know there's going to be this harvest? How do I know there's going to be this reaping? It's just like anything else in the gospel, right? You look deeper and more closely at Jesus. Because he stood up like a crop in the field, and he had the sickle of divine justice fall on him, and he was cut down. And like seeds being sown into the ground, he was buried in the tomb. But then like plants, like fruit coming up on the vine, he emerged, he was raised, he was resurrected to new life, and he brought with him the greatest harvest, the greatest reaping that the world had ever seen, because he poured out salvation on his people. He poured out rescue on his people and gave us his Spirit. So we've already reaped and harvested because we've already seen Jesus harvested for us. He's made us right. He's made us sons, and now by his Spirit, he's making us new. When Paul says, do not be deceived, this is a good warning from a kind God. And he comes to me he comes to us like my father came to me and said, I don't want you to wreck your life like you've wrecked this truck. And he says, look at Jesus, who allowed his life to be wrecked so that ours could be salvaged and that we could live fruitfully in following his Spirit.